Just before she died away, Jean Stapleton confirmed what admirers had suspected for a long time, an alarming truth about herself and her most famous role, Edith Bunker. This revelation added depth to the genuine Jean's narrative, despite the fact that she was already beloved by fans. An unexpected revelation in Edith Bunker's later years startled her fans and cemented her position in television history. Throughout Jean Stapleton's childhood, the arts were deeply ingrained in her life. Jean Murray came into this world on January 19, 1923. Marie Stapleton sang opera, while Joseph Murray specialized in billboard advertising. Jean was raised in a home that placed a premium on the performing arts, as is typical for her artistically gifted family. Jack Stapleton, her older brother, was a professional actor, and she got her start in the theater world through him. Coming from a long line of entertainers, Jean's time in front of an audience was bound to come. After finishing high school, Jean began to take little acting gigs to hone her skills and launch her career. Her official acting career began in 1941, when she joined a summer stock theater company. Plays and musicals were performed all summer long by members of the group. She perfected her stage presence and learned the fundamentals of the art form during her early years. Because of her remarkable acting abilities, which enabled her to immediately connect with the audience, she was beloved by the local theatrical community. The strong acting career of Jean Stapleton began even before her debut in the New York City off-Broadway play American Gothic. Acting was her first and foremost passion in the performing arts. Her singing and acting skills were shown in numerous Broadway musicals, including Funny Girl, Damn Yankees, and Bells A-Ringing. As her star began to rise, it appeared inevitable that Jean would join the television industry. Through the 50s and 60s, she had numerous appearance opportunities on various television series, such as Dr. Kildare, Robert Montgomery Presents, Starlight Theater, and much more. These roles weren't as big as her later ones, but the screen experience she got from them was priceless, and they were essential to her career. Through this, she was able to gain the support of one of television's most cherished icons. There was nothing ordinary about Jean Stapleton's transformation into Edith Bunker. An ambitious TV producer named Norman Lear, who was famous for his sardonic sense of humor and love of unconventional ideas, became obsessed with the notion of creating a new series in the late 1960s. This show gave rise to All in the Family, a phenomenon that revolutionized American television. Edith Bunker is the kind but little dim-witted wife of the rough Archie Bunker. Hence, it was crucial for Lear to cast the perfect actress to portray the role. Her magnetic stage presence and, more importantly, her gift for fusing candor with comedy enchanted him at first sight. Her performance as Edith at her audition left a lasting impression on Lear and the rest of the casting staff. Edith was given a lot more nuance and character by Stapleton than the stereotypical housewife and obedient wife. The part was embodied by her. Because of her level head and abundance of measured, rational advice, Edith became famous throughout America. This part was a departure for Jean, who had been preparing for roles in theatrical and film productions. Despite her extensive acting resume, she never anticipated how playing Edith Bunker would shape her career. Stapleton found playing Edith to be an honor and a challenge. By grounding the film's performance in reality, she elevated Edith from mere actress to idealized heroine. Because Archie was tough and Edith was simple, the show was interesting and educational. The professional biopic catapulted Jean Stapleton to stardom as she portrayed Edith Bunker. Due to the unexpected sensation that was All in the Family, Edith Bunker became famous all too soon. This role catapulted Jean to stardom on television. She won 2 Golden Globes and 3 Emmys for her performance. However, Jean saw the role as more than just another professional achievement. She had deep feelings for the character she was portraying and hoped that her audience would relate. In your opinion, how did Jean Stapleton's portrayal of Edith Bunker influence how contemporary television shows handle complex characters? Jean Stapleton's portrayal of Edith Bunker transcended the realm of acting. It became a symbol of tolerance during a time when American television began to portray society's transformation. Despite its seemingly innocuous tone, All in the Family addressed weighty social themes like racism, sexism, and socialism. Edith plays an emotionally charged part in the comedic piece as she assists Archie Bunker in tempering his often scandalous and acidic ideas. Since Stapleton portrayed Edith so realistically, she was able to connect with a lot of people. Edith and her beauty were unremarkable. In spite of this, Edith counseled those going through terrible times with simplicity, knowledge, and kindness. Families around the country got to know and love Edith because of this. Despite Archie's heartless demeanor and hurtful remarks, Edith's warm character and unwavering commitment to her husband won over millions of fans and solidified her status as one of the most adored television characters ever. Edith Bunker's impact on culture cannot be overstated. Unlike the idealized, stereotyped American TV shows at the period, Edith was authentic. Not a lovely, polite woman, but the classic, normal woman. That was her. Like every housewife, she had her share of challenges, successes, and grit. That is why Jean was so careful to present a character she could unite behind. Edith developed into a spunky, endearing, and kind character, but she was also smart enough to influence Archie with her reasonable arguments on occasion. All in the Family got a chance to interpret and dramatize taboo subjects through Edith, bringing them to light for the greater good of society. And prejudice and stereotyping might be dispelled. Thanks to Stapleton's nuanced performance, the play was able to honestly explore these themes, which ignited significant conversations nationwide. Why did Jean Stapleton choose to step down from her famous role? I wager that the rationale catches you off guard. Jean Stapleton did not find it easy to leave All in the Family. She opted to depart the role of Edith Bunker after nearly 10 years of portraying the character. Even though Edith's star rose like a meteor on American television, Stapleton felt the story had been told before. According to her, Edith's real magnetism, which made her famous, could be lost if she is kept in the role. Following her departure from the program, Stapleton hoped to test the waters in other acting opportunities. She was ready to move on from sitcoms and into other kinds of parts after honed her acting skills at the theater. Stapleton felt the need to pursue other acting opportunities despite the critical role she played as Edith throughout her many years in Hollywood. Stapleton has expressed in interviews how much she loves Edith Bunker and how she hopes the role is revived. She was steadfast in her refusal to play the part of a cliché. She worried for a long time that her typecasting would keep her from trying new things that would make her happier. This urge for creative independence and self-improvement was a major factor in her choice to leave the show. Stapleton also took note of the fact that All My Children was undergoing some changes. As time went on, the show's focus shifted away from Edith and onto other characters. Stapleton felt more at ease leaving the stage after making this change because she was confident the show could continue without her. She preferred to depart while the character was still popular and essential, rather than when its significance began to fade. Her departure was a turning point. After saying goodbye to Edith Bunker, Jean Stapleton persisted in her profession with the same intensity and dedication as before. Leaving All in the Family gave her the opportunity to showcase her versatility by working in television, movies, and on stage. Stapleton was not only incredibly busy, but she was also not hesitant to take on more work. Her resume also includes a cameo in the 1982 TV drama, Eleanor, First Lady of the World, in which she played the role of First Lady of the World, Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt. Stapleton was able to demonstrate her acting skills in this dramatic departure from Edith Bunker by tackling more challenging parts. She proved she could have done well in the role even without Edith Bunker, as critics lauded her performance. She maintained her involvement in the theater, a passion of hers, alongside her work in television. A one-woman performance portraying Eleanor Roosevelt was one of her numerous stage appearances. Re-establishing her reputation as a successful, committed, and gifted actor was a win-win for Stapleton, and she was free to do what she loved when she returned to the stage. At about the same time, Stapleton's cinematic career began to boom. Among the films in which she appeared was Michael, 1996, which starred John Travolta. In the film Michael, she showcased her versatility by playing both serious and humorous roles. The many characters that Stapleton was able to portray showcased her flexibility as an actress. The fact that Jean Stapleton had to leave Edith behind had no effect on her genius. However, as her life came to a close, she reflected frequently on the role that had catapulted her to fame and imprinted her legacy on television. One final fact remained to be revealed: her final reflections on Edith Bunker, the character's influence on both herself and the countless admirers of hers. William Pritchard Bill Stapleton was Stapleton's husband from 1957 until his death in 1983. John and Pamela Stapleton are multi-talented. John produces television shows and acts, writes, and directs. William Stapleton was the artistic director of the Summer Stock Company at Pennsylvania's Totem Pole Playhouse, where he also frequently performed. Even though William had a heart attack during the performance, Stapleton still went on to perform that night. She had an actor brother named Jack Stapleton and an actress relative named Betty Jane Watson. Stapleton was a devout Christian Science church member, not related to actress Maureen Stapleton, as is commonly believed. Among her many accomplishments, she advocated for the Equal Rights Amendment, attended the National Women's Conference in 1977, and backed Walter Mondale for president in 1984. Although her appearances on talk shows were rare, she made a return appearance with Carol Osmond on The Donnie and Marie Osmond Show in 2000. She turned down the opportunity to voice Edith Bunker on the show, joking that she does voice acting solely for financial gain. The actress admitted to occasionally watching All in the Family, but by 2000 she had altered her views, according to the Archive of American Television interview with Stapleton. For a long time, Edith Bunker's admirers speculated about her true character and the values she represented, and they questioned whether there was more to her than met the eye. Jean Stapleton addressed these worries in her final moments, shocking and moving her fans with her honesty. In the interviews she gave just before she died away, her deep admiration for Edith Bunker shone through. She felt more human, acquired knowledge, and had a clear conscience as a result. Despite her seeming innocence, Edith was a strong woman who provided Stapleton with encouragement and hope, and who took it upon herself to rescue the misled by seeing the best in them and giving them a chance again. As many had suspected for some time, Stapleton confirmed that Edith was a grounded character who found motivation from the women in her life. The example set by her mother and the other steady, loving adults she encountered had an influence. This personal connection made Edith more relatable and user-friendly, which allowed her to interact with viewers on a deeper level than any other TV character. When Stapleton said Edith's heart was her strongest suit, I believed she was being truthful. In contrast to Archie's more stereotypically aggressive and callous attitude, Edith may have been the reserved one who acted as a rock for the family, standing firmly by her beliefs without attempting to argue openly. Edith was more than just an observer, so this seemed a little off. In reality, she served as the show's moral compass. Despite her animosity against her family, she fought to love them. The mental and emotional toll that playing Edith took on Stapleton was briefly touched upon as well. Even while she had fun playing Edith, the actress revealed that the role was emotionally demanding, which played a role in her decision to go. If she allowed herself to be too obvious, Edith would be stereotyped as a typical witch, which was something she was terrified of. Stapleton voiced her deep appreciation in a message she delivered shortly before her passing for the opportunity to portray Edith and bring attention to significant concerns. Edith Bunker embodied empathy, tolerance, and compassion on television, she reflected to herself. The satisfaction of giving life to that type of character was real. More than Edith, Stapleton's last testimony dealt with the emotional impact of television and the agency of artists in shaping the destinies of their characters. By providing solid evidence for long-held suspicions, Stapleton's legacy gained greater weight. Underneath the kind and welcoming exterior, viewers saw an actress who knew the gravity of her role and the influence she could have on the world. Though her portrayal of Edith Bunker by Jean Stapleton is the one that most people remember her for, her impact on society and the entertainment industry was far-reaching. While Edith did help launch her career, Stapleton's influence on American television and culture at large was much larger. It was easy for her to bring authenticity to any role she portrayed, thanks to her acting talents. She touched many with her portrayal of Edith. Edith Bunker, played by Jean Stapleton, was more than a comic relief. She personified the ideals of decency and love that are important to Americans. She exemplified the highest level of human achievement. So Stapleton taught Edith values like love and empathy. The closeness she had with Edith before her death elevated her from minor character to cultural icon in the United States. The role that Stapleton played in All in the Family catapulted her to stardom and earned her widespread acclaim. She started a movement that changed the way women were portrayed on television for a long time. Jean Stapleton's compelling and introspective works that urged readers to put themselves first are the subject of today's honor. Edith Bunker will be remembered as a legendary character in television history, serving as both a modern-day drama and a tribute to Stapleton. Many people express their admiration for the late Jean Stapleton and their pleasure in having worked with her after her death in 2013. Many former children of Jean Stapleton's, along with other well-known figures in the entertainment industry, shared remarks and photos that captured her essence. Creator Norman Lear of All in the Family praised Stapleton, calling her one of the most iconic actors of all time. He stated she was vital to the show's success and praised her for playing Edith Bunker with nuance and authenticity. Edith became a likable character because to Stapleton's acting, which Lear remarked on. The program's meathead, Robert Reiner, praised Stapleton for her beauty and generosity. Reiner played Edith's son-in-law on the show. She was extremely professional and encouraged her co-stars to do their best, so he considered it an honor to work with her. In addition to Reiner's compliments about Stapleton's kindness, devotion, and passion for her work, many of her colleagues shared these sentiments. Sally Struthers was one of the performers that appeared, portraying Edith's on-air daughter, Gloria. Struthers compared Stapleton to a second mother, according to her. Struthers frequently brings up how Stapleton bolstered and inspired the other actors during the pivotal scenes. She obviously cared about her co-workers and worked hard to create a tight-knit environment among them from their early days. Efforts made by Jean Stapleton outside of the show were also well received by fans. In the eyes of many viewers, Edith Bunker had become an enduring representation of optimism and hope. Thanks to Edith, Stapleton's Archie became more endearing, and the actor quickly rose to the ranks of America's most beloved television actors. In cinematic memory, Jean Stapleton will be remembered for her stunning acting skills, warmth, and love. Lastly, her audience was even more moved by Jean Stapleton's comments on Edith Bunker. All this demonstrates is that stories possess an enchanting ability to unite individuals. Long after her passing, Stapleton's influence is still felt. Her most recent revelation was shocking, but it also showed how good she is at playing and how deep her character is.